Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Double RPG here, and welcome back to Double RPG Livestream, where we are going to get started tonight with going into the sequel to The Legend of Heroes: Trails of Cold Steel. And of course, that game is The Legend of Heroes: Trails of Cold Steel 2. Yes, I've been contemplating on wanting to do a livestream series on this game for a little bit of time now, since it's already been a good, I would say, few months since we played the first Trails of Cold Steel and managed to get through it all. So yeah, it seems like now is the perfect time to finally get back on track with that game, so we can actually continue where we left off, and we continue to play it to my heart's content. So hope you all are really looking forward to this ride as much as I am. So let's not waste any time, and let's go ahead and load up the game, and then we'll get started in it. So yeah, Trails of Cold Steel, it's finally starting again tonight, and oh boy, I cannot even wait. This seems like it's going to be a good one. And we'll watch the opening movie intro. But it says, cannot load system data. It's because we don't even have any system data on us right at this time, so kind of a pointless situation if you ask me. But anyway, let's watch the opening movie, and then I will start talking again. Alright, well, that was the opening intro for Trails of Cold Steel 2, so, yes, it's been, like I said, it's been quite a while since I played this, and, you know, if you actually played this for the first time, then they do have a backstory option to where it actually, where you can actually read about the events and characters from The Legend of Heroes: Trails of Cold Steel, the first game. And so, if you remember what happened at the end of Trails of Cold Steel 1, the Imperial Liberation Front, they attacked the capital city of Erebonia, which is Heimdall, and they ended up presumably assassinating the Chancellor, Gileath Osborne. So, if anything, it looks like it's going to be a pretty big time with war in this in this game, and we're gonna. And because Reen ended up getting separated with the Ashen Knight Valimar and Celine the cat from his classmates of Class 7 and Trista, so he's having to gather everybody back together so that way he can, you know, bring everybody back together so that way they can put an end to the war. But anyway, here we have the opening section where you can actually go into the story bit. Just give a brief summary of what all goes on, as well as the character profiles, and then we can return to the title screen. So, Yeah, so the I assume that these are just small little synopsises and whatnot.
It was 1204 of the Septian calendar, and all across Erebonia spring was in bloom. At the esteemed Thor's Military Academy, situated on the outskirts of the Imperial capital, a new class was founded. It would be known as Class 7, and was comprised of 9 promising young men and women who demonstrated considerable aptitude for arts, a sophisticated new type of battle ornament. Reen Schwarzer, son of a ruling lord from the remote region of Ymir. Elisa Reinford, daughter of the chairman of Erebonia's largest industrial corporation. Elliot Craig, son of a celebrated general and a kind-hearted boy who harbored dreams of becoming a musician. Laura S. Arcade, the daughter of a renowned military family tracing its lineage back to the Knights of old. Machias Regnitz, the son of Heimdall's imperial governor. Emma Milstein, the class's president and the Academy's highest scorer on the entrance exam. Eusis Albarea, son of Duke Albarea, head of one of the Empire's 4 great houses. Fee Clausel, a former Jaeger with extraordinary strength and agility. And Gaius Warzel, an exchange student from the land of Nord, bordering the Empire to the north. Gathered together by their homeroom teacher, Sarah Valestein, they were put through a difficult trial. Some were quick to work together, others less so, but eventually all were able to surmount the challenge they faced. They were then asked to decide whether, knowing the difficulty of the curriculum, they still wished to be part of Class 7. Each had his or her own reasons, but each ultimately heeded the call, and that day, Thor's newest class began.
Okay, so pretty much they give brief synopsises of the chapters that happened during the, during the whole game. So
April came, and while the students of Class 7 were already grappling with their challenging coursework, they received a sudden announcement that they were to take part in an unusual program, a series of field studies. The class would be split into 2 groups, each sent to a different location in the Empire to assist the local townships.
So Group A went to the rural town of Kelvik, famous for the Grand Market. Through their tasks, they gained a greater understanding of one another, and all appeared to be going well on the surface. But that came to a sudden halt when they discovered that 2 market stalls had been vandalized during the still of night. Determined to find the culprit, Group A made their way to the Lunaria Nature Park. They found and apprehended the group of bandits responsible, but were immediately surrounded by the provincial army, who turned out to be in league with the bandits all along. Yep, if you remember that. Just as the situation grew more dire by the second, the Railway Military Police, led by the notoriously brilliant Captain Clare, swiftly arrived at the scene. It was thanks to their timely intervention that the provincial army was forced to retreat, and the bandits were duly arrested for their crimes. Their very first field study now at an end, Group A boarded the train back to Trista and reflected on the events that transpired over the course of their stay. It was then that Reen confessed to his fellow classmates that he was the adopted son of a baron, a noble. Surprisingly, though it may have been, not a single one of them thought any less of him for it. The evening concluded with smiles, each of them blissfully unaware of the 2 ominous figures who were watching their train head into the distance. And that's Chapter 1. Now let's go to Chapter 2, The Verdant City.
filling the town of Trista with greenery. Meanwhile, Class 7's schedule was growing busier by the day. Reen found himself at odds with Machias for keeping his noble status a secret.
Oh yeah. Kind of forgot about that Machias was not that very keen with how Reen kept it a secret that he is a noble all along.
But he also learned more about his fellow classmates, including the fact that Emma was caring for a black cat named Celine.
As the days passed, the time for their second field study arrived, and the newly organized Group A was assigned to Eustace's hometown of Boreahard. This would hardly make the trip easy, however, as the utterly incompatible Eustace and Machias were forced to be part of the same team yet again. To the surprise of no one, the boys were bickering in record time. The trivial squabbles one after another resulted in a number of setbacks, something they became keenly aware of when one particularly heated argument resulted in Reen sustaining injury during battle. Despite these moments of frustration, they at least felt they would be able to fully complete their assigned tasks. To add to the growing unpleasantness, however, they were given a stark reminder of how grave the tensions between the nobles and reformist factions were. When they discovered that the provincial army was greatly expanding its armaments. With neither of them able to get much sleep that night, Eustace revealed to Reen that his background was less perfect than anyone in Class 7 realized. His mother was a commoner, making him the mere bastard son of Duke Alberea. Yep, that's right. So basically, half noble, half commoner, basically. Machias, overhearing this, stepped forward the next morning to make peace, and their field study finally seemed as if it would go smoothly. No sooner had this reconciliation happened was Eustace abruptly summoned to his home, leaving the rest of the group no choice but to proceed without him. They completed their morning tasks outside the city with little trouble, but immediately upon returning to Boreahard, Machias was arrested without probable cause by the provincial army. Reen, Emma, and Fee agreed that rescuing him was to be their top priority. As the three were discussing on just how to go about that, they learned from a bracer passing through, Toval, of a waterway that led precisely to where Machias was being held. Conveniently, the complex waterway led to quite a few places, including the Alberea mansion. They were soon reunited with Eustace this way, who had learned what happened and escaped from his home to set things right. As they approached a massive, heavy door, Fee, who revealed she was once a Jaeger, made the impassable easily passable, and they were able to successfully free Machias from his cell. On their way out, they were cornered by two large dog-like beasts from the military. However, thanks in no small part to Eustace and Machias forming a successful combat link, they emerged victorious. But their celebrations were short-lived, as they were surrounded yet again, only this time it was by the provincial army. Even having Eustace at their side gained them no sympathy. It was only when Eustace's older brother Rufus and Instructor Sarah appeared that they were saved from peril. Group A's second field study had come to an end, but on a much less positive note compared to their first. On the train, they gloomily discussed the factional conflict Erebonia faced. Instructor Sarah attempted to cheer them up and succeeded, even if it was more because they were laughing at her than with her. Meanwhile, a mysterious young girl with the silver puppet nonchalantly watched them depart. And that concludes Chapter 2. Alright, now it's time to go to Chapter 3. Chapter 3, Beyond the Railways.
June heralded the beginning of Class 7's first midterms, as well as the onset of Trista's rainy season. In the midst of this, the Rhineford family's maid, Sharon, was appointed as caretaker of Class 7's dormitory. And with her came the revelation that Elisa was the daughter of the Rhineford Company's chairman.
All performing to the best of their abilities, Class 7 scored better in the midterms than any other class. This news didn't go down well with the nobles of Class 1, of course, and the besmirched upper-class students challenged Class 7 to a duel. Class 7 was victorious here as well, leading to a tirade of insults from Patrick Higharms that were only stopped by Gaius's interference. The time had come for Class 7 to prepare for their next field study, and Group A's latest destination was the Nord Highlands, Gaius's homeland. The journey was exceptionally longer than anywhere they had been previously, and while briefly stopped at Ruhr Station, they encountered Elise's mother, Chairman Irina. After a grueling 8-hour journey, they finally reached the Nord Highlands to the northeast. It was plain to see how Gaius had grown up with endless patience and kindness upon meeting his family, who gave Group A a warm welcome. After a night of sleep, they took off on horseback to begin working. The highlands were as vast as they were beautiful, and their time spent there was both challenging and rewarding in equal measure. That it was, and I definitely remember that. Nord Highlands was a very beautiful place when I was playing Trails of Cold Steel 1. During their stay, they also happened to meet the former chairman of the Reinford Group, Gwyn Reinford, Elise's grandfather. At night, while gazing at the stars together, Elisa privately told Rien about the discord between her and her mother, as well as about when she lost her father. Gloomy as her expression was in the beginning, she felt a weight being lifted off her shoulders the longer they talked, and it was soon replaced by her usual sweet smile. Aww. Unfortunately, the night ended with her cheeks turned as red as their uniforms when she realized their classmates had overheard part of her and Rien's conversation. The next morning, they were informed that the watchtower surveying the border of the Calvard Republic had come under attack. The previously peaceful highlands suddenly became tense, with airships from both sides ominously circling the skies. And knowing that war could break out over a misunderstanding at any moment, Group A motioned to conduct their own inquiry into the true culprits responsible. They found out just who these culprits were from an unlikely source: Milliam, the strange girl accompanied by the silver puppet. It was her help that made their capture swift and decisive, although the man pulling the strings, known as G, or Gideon, managed to make his escape. Thanks to both Group A and the efforts of the Intelligence Division's Captain Lecter, war was successfully averted. Captain Lecter quickly arrived to take control of the situation and just as quickly left, taking Milliam with him. It was then discovered that she was also from the Intelligence Division. Later that evening, Sarah and Sharon both witnessed G and a masked man departing on a jet-black ship. Airship, that is. The next morning, Group A bade a sad farewell to Gaius' family and Gwyn. Their field study was over. They left the land of Nord behind, knowing full well that the experience had been one they would never forget. And that brought Chapter 3 to a close. Now it's time for Chapter 4, A Midsummer's Revels.
July had come, and preparations were underway for Heimdall's month-late celebration of the Summer Festival. At the Academy, the addition of swimming lessons to the schedule put a spring into the step of Rien and his friends. However, Laura and Fee had already strained relationships.
And thank you there, Jeff, for hosting my live stream too.
Between their beliefs. A surprise visit from Elise, Rien's younger sister, led to an argument between the adoptive siblings. And when Rien saw her in danger soon after, he lost control of a strange power that dwelt within him. Fortunately, Crow stepped in to help, and ultimately, no one was harmed in the incident.
The time came for the month's field study. Unlike past studies, both groups were assigned to the same location, the Erebonian capital of Heimdall. They worked their way through the tasks given to them by Governor Regnitz, Machias's father. And a show of strength by Elliot led Laura and Fee to settle their differences through a formal duel. After the battle, Fee revealed that the Jaeger Corps she belonged to was among the strongest and was called Zephyr, or Zephyr. After opening up to one another, their uncomfortable feud seemed to be put to rest once and for all, much to Machias and Reen's joy. The next day, a visit to Machias' house led him to reveal some of his own past. Machias concluded his story by telling his classmates that his hate for the nobility was slowly subsiding. Something everyone warmly welcomed. Now back to work. Class 7 received a series of frustrating and obtuse riddles from the famed Phantom Thief B, challenging them to find something he had delightfully stolen, the Crimson Tiara. Undaunted, they rose to the challenge, and once they had recovered the tiara, they received a call from instructor Sarah. She asked them to gather at St. Estrella Girls' School, the school that young Elise attended. They even met with Elise before the gates of St. Estrella, and she elegantly led them to a stunning indoor rose garden. More stunning than the rose garden, however, was the sight of the Princess of Erebonia, Alphen Reese Arnor. Even Prince Olivert, chairman of Thor's board of directors, came to meet them. That night, the prince informed them of the reasons that their class was put together. He explained his desire to cultivate the youth of tomorrow, those who could overcome the conflicts in the world. However, he warned that the other directors have their own ideas on what they want from Class 7. It was for that reason they were all left pondering harder than ever about what they could and should do as a class. Several other strange conversations followed, such as when they found out Sarah had once been a bracer, or how Reen was invited to be Alphen's dance partner. And in the chat and watching stream, just wanted to update that the channel is now hosting your stream. Twitch screwed up again like they did earlier with Jerry's stream. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, it looks like that's what you were pretty TO'd about from what I saw there, Jeff. And I saw the conversation you posted on our Facebook chat group. So, yeah, thanks for updating me on that. And finally, they were asked for help with an important mission by Captain Claire. Specifically, they were asked to help with security for the festival, which was believed to be the target of terrorists. The next morning, they began their patrols on the festival as requested. The parade came to an end without incident, but just as they thought they were in the clear, chaos erupted in Dreikel's Plaza. Reen and friends quickly Yes, I am going to be breaking a leg. Not literally, but I'm definitely going to be having fun while playing this. Tell me about it. Reen and friends quickly realized this was a diversion, and leaving Toa in charge, they hurried to Princess Alphen's side. Upon arriving, they found the garden party where she was in attendance under attack by the terrorists. The attack was led once again by G, and Princess Alphen and Elise were both taken hostage. Reen's party pursued them beneath the city. G summoned a mighty bone dragon, and while quite the challenge, they were able to defeat it. Though the dragon may have fallen, 3 more members of the terrorist group made their appearance, V, S, and their leader, C. C challenged Reen, Laura, and Fee to a duel, and his victory proved both swift and effortless. It wasn't long before the railway military police found their way into the catacombs as well, and the terrorists fled the scene, triggering an explosive in the process. As they made their escape, they finally announced their organization's name, the Imperial Liberation Front. The 3-day-long festival came to an end, and Class 7 readied themselves to return to Trista. They were seen off by Princess Alphen, Elise, Governor Regnitz, and Crown Prince Cedric. But before they could leave, an unexpected man arrived to also bid them farewell. It was the Blood and Iron Chancellor, Gileath Osborne, the man behind driving the Bracer Guild from most of Erebonia. Disregarding that Sarah was clearly not happy to see him, he gave his own encouragement to Class 7. Telling them, nurture the bonds you share, and train up bodies and wills of steel. As he spoke, Reen felt an aching in and aching in the left side of his chest, causing Elise to look on with concern. Yep, it seems like... Yep, and definitely his connection... seems like Reen and Gileath Osborne definitely do have a connection somewhat. But we don't even know what. Chapter 5, Signs and Omens.
The heat of August beat down upon Trista, but none of Class 7's nobles elected to return home, as was their right. So it was that all were present to greet two surprising mid-year additions to the class. The first was a familiar face. Second-year student Crow Armbrust was forced to join their ranks in order to make up credits, while the second, young Milliam Orion, was an operative from the intelligence division they had met in Nord.
Contrary to expectations, it wasn't long before Milliam fit in so well. It was as if she had always been there. The time for their next field study came, and Group A was sent to Laura's hometown of Legram. And once they completed their field study tasks, they were instructed to meet with Group B and travel to Gorelia Fortress. In Legram, they were reunited with Toval and helped to train several Arcade school students. Reen also had the chance to duel Laura's father, Viscount Arcade, also widely known as the Radiant Blade Master. The Viscount sensed Reen's fear of using his hidden abilities and forced him into utilizing them anyway. And through this, he taught him the importance of accepting yourself for who you are. The next day, the noble faction's leader, Duke Cayenne, paid a surprise visit to the town. Troubled by recent developments in the faction, Viscount Arcade left Legram with Toval, and Group A was left to look after the town while completing their remaining tasks. That night, they had to travel to a nearby castle to rescue two young children who had wandered inside its perilous corridors. Thanks to Emma's knowledge of the occult and the timely aid of a mysterious knight, they managed to do so. The next morning, they departed Legram as per their schedule and made their way to Keldic Station to meet with Group B. There, they saw the special train taking Chancellor Osborne and Prince Oliver to the trade conference in Crossbell. To Reen's surprise, he saw it pass in slow motion, as he could clearly see Osborne, Olivert, and Toa on board. The two groups reunited soon thereafter, finally making their way towards Gorelia Fortress. The fortress stood as a vast wall between Erebonia and its longtime enemy, the Calvard Republic, while also possessing two huge railway guns capable of targeting Crossbell City, which stands between the two. Upon arriving, they were shown inside by Major Neidhart, their military science instructor at the academy, and they soon met Elliot's father, Lieutenant General Craig, and witnessed a military exercise. They were stunned by the overwhelming power the weaponry on display possessed. In the end, each of them left with the sinking feeling that all the combat skills they were learning at Thor's were for naught. Once they recovered from the shock of yesterday's events, they were given a lecture by Sarah and Neidhart. They were soon bombarded with the news of terrorists attacking Crossbell, specifically the site of the trade conference. And no sooner had they heard this did the fortress itself come under attack by out-of-control, unmanned tanks. This was followed by the arrival of two black airships belonging to the Imperial Liberation Front. Amid the chaos, Class 7 resolved to aid Sarah and Neidhart in subduing the terrorists. They learned their aim was to activate the two railway guns and use them to attack the trade conference. And that by doing so, they intended to bury Chancellor Osborne, with little concern over how many innocents died with him. After a fierce battle, Group A defeated S, now known as Scarlet, one of the terrorist executives. Meanwhile, Group B defeated V, revealed to be Vulcan, and together, they were able to prevent the worst-case scenario. Regrettably, both terrorist executives were allowed to escape by the sudden arrival of an airship. And the voice of their leader, C, delivered a chilling warning of their next attack before the airship took to the skies. And that concludes Chapter 5. Now, Chapter 6, Progressive Chaos. And this is where things start to get a little bit more hairier with the political and military side, or the climate of the tensions in the atmosphere within Erebonia.
In September, Thor's board of directors convened for their regular meeting. The 3 directors, each related to a member of Class 7, debated how the Academy ought to be run. They ended up voting on whether Class 7 would continue their field studies in light of the events at Gorelia Fortress. Prince Olivert delivered a rousing speech in favor of their continuation. And in the end, all 3 directors consented, paving the way for September's field study to go forward.
Meanwhile, all of Thors was in the midst of preparing for the Academy Festival that was scheduled for the end of October. And Class 7 was struggling to think of something that they could do for it with their small numbers. Eventually, inspiration came to them in the form of a hint from Toa. Their contribution would be a live musical performance on stage. The day came for their next field study to begin, and they were summoned to the Academy field. Once there, they heard an unusual, surprising sound. A crimson airship hovered above them. Its name was the Courageous, and notably on board was Prince Oliver, Toval, and its captain, Viscount Arsaid. It was decided that Class 7 was to be taken to their field study locations by airship, and everyone stepped on board. After the Courageous was shown off to the people of Heimdall, it flew to Ruhr, where Group A alighted. Ruhr was a large industrial city, home to the Reinford Group's corporate HQ and Reinford family residence. Once there, they set about working through the task Elisa's mother, Irina Reinford, gave them. But later that day, they came upon a dire conflict between the provincial army and the railway military police. Rufus and Captain Claire's appearance prevented things from escalating further, but it was clear that something was amiss. That night, Elisa's mother was forced to cancel dining with them, irritating Elisa to no end. Elisa later revealed to Reen more about her family and her concerns relating to Irina's destructive work ethic. No sooner they had finished speaking did Reen receive a call from Captain Claire, who asked if the two could meet privately at a nearby bar. He agreed, but not before escaping Fee's notice. Reen spotted her as he left the building, and the two decided to meet Captain Claire together. The captain informed them of conflicts within the Reinford group, as well as expressed how there was a chance the Railway Military Police, or the RMP, could personally investigate the matter. The next morning, along with their new field study tasks, Class 7 agreed to look into the matter of the conflicts themselves. While they were doing so, a more pressing problem arose, a fire at the military factory in town. And no sooner had that been resolved did they receive word that terrorists had occupied Sashin Iron Mine. The provincial army sealed the mine off under the pretext of protecting the hostages from being harmed. But it was clear to all that their true aim was to stop the Railway Military Police from going inside. While Group A pondered their options, Angelica and George arrived in the city after a long bike ride. Angelica believed her family was involved in all of this, and that she had a duty to stand up and fight. They all agreed to help her, and Elisa went to see her mother and try to find another way into the mine. Irina, seeing her daughter's newfound determination, gave them a key card, allowing them to sneak into the mine. They traveled through an underground passage connecting Ruhr and the mine and began searching for the miners. Partway through the mine, they found most of the hostages, and Crow volunteered to take them back to the surface with him. Thanks to George's guidance, they eventually reached the central control room, where they found Vulcan. He revealed that he had once been a Jaeger, one that Fee herself knew of. They defeated him, but then the terrorist leader C appeared. Unlike their first bout in Heimdall, however, Group A was finally able to best C in battle. However, C managed to escape, and in their place rose the familiar sight of the terrorist black airship. At that moment, the RMP and Provincial Army made their way in, and they immediately began bickering amongst themselves. C's derisive words filled the area as the airship rose upwards, and were all of a sudden replaced by the sound of a gunshot. Its engine hit. The airship exploded into a violent mess mid-air before their eyes. The Provincial Army saw this as a vital chance to take control of the scene, but those hopes were quickly dashed when Prince Oliver intervened. He effortlessly took command and ordered a full investigation into what happened. Any and all disputes were effectively dissolved. In addition, Captain Claire and Sharon had a cryptic conversation that very same night. And that was Chapter 6. And let's go into the intermission, returning home. The following includes some of the content from the drama CD that can be perused for free at www.trailsofcoldsteel.com. Intermission, returning home.
At the close of September, Class 7 was summoned to Valflame Palace in Heimdall. There they were to be recognized for their bravery at both Guerrilla Fortress and the Saxon Iron Mine.
Saxon.
It turned out their presence had been requested by none other than the Emperor of Erebonia himself, Eugent III. They were granted an audience with him, Empress Priscilla, Princes Olivert and Cedric, and Princess Alfin. During their visit, they also encountered Chancellor Osborne and Governor Regnitz, as well as the heads of the four great houses, Dukes Alborea and Cayenne, and Marquis Ragnar and Hyons.
Emperor Eugen invited them to take a short vacation in a hot springs town which has ties to the imperial family. That town was none other than Ymir, where Reen grew up. They went by special train followed by cable car for the last leg of the trip, and soon they found Ymir, which was full of fall foliage. Upon arriving, they were shown to the Phoenix Wings, a gift from the Imperial family, where they would stay for the duration of their trip. They left their belongings in their rooms, then held a meeting to figure out everyone's roles in the concert for the Academy Festival. And while some members of the group had objections, everyone eventually agreed to Reen, Elliot, and Crow's various proposals. Afterwards, Reen was reunited with his father, Baron Theo Schwarzer, and his mother, Lucia Schwarzer. They were not related to him by blood, but they welcomed him as warmly as any biological parents would. Reen's father gave him a letter from Master Kafai, who seemed aware that Reen was still hesitating. All his classmates could do is watch over him as he continued to do so. That night, after his classmates had gone to bed, Reen received a surprising request from Angelica. She told him that her father forced her to withdraw from the academy, and as a partaking gift, she asked him to accept her orbital bike. Unsure what to do, he was unable to answer immediately, and decided to think about it in the open air bath. Talking to Laura and Elisa there eased his spirits, but as they spoke, he saw something that shocked him. It was snow, something he wouldn't have expected to see in early October. Snow continued to fall heavily well into the following morning, suggesting that something was amiss. Reen decided to find out what. In some ways, Reen took this as a chance to overcome a similar traumatic experience that occurred 8 years prior. His classmates happily accompanied him without a second thought. Soon enough, they encountered a giant monster made of ice. After a fierce battle, they defeated it and came face to face with Blue Blanc of Ouroboros. He was fascinated in the many mysteries surrounding Reen, even going as far as to taunt him. But Reen refused to be taken in by such pettiness, and Blue Blanc was forced to retreat. In the end, they were able to stop the strange snow and return to Ymir unharmed. But as Baron Schwarzer bade farewell to them, he handed his son a scroll that he had received from Master Kafai. It was an 8 leaves 1 blade intermediate level scroll, which would give Reen a new target to work for. They said their farewells, and finally left for the trip back at the academy, with Reen feeling as though they had all grown greatly as a result of the experience. And that's the intermission. Now for the final chapter. Final chapter, put to the test.
Safely back from their brief trip to Ymir, Reen and his classmates began practicing for their upcoming concert. Under the watchful eyes of Elliot and Crow, they put all they had into their practice sessions. And thanks in part to the fact that they weren't all complete amateurs, they were finally ready to perform.
The time came for the preparatory day before the festival. Reen chose a classmate to accompany him to collect the finished outfits from a boutique in Heimdall. But walking out with the outfits in tow, he ran into someone he wasn't expecting to see. It was the famous opera singer, Vita Clotilde, also known as the Azure Diva. Although Reen was more familiar with her as Misty, the host of the radio program broadcast in Trista. Having met her once already, Reen took the chance to invite her to attend the festival and watch their concert. The time finally came for the 2-day long festival to begin. Reen spent the first day helping the student council, visiting attractions with classmates in his spare time. As the day came to an end, Class 7 gathered for a final meeting to discuss the concert being held the next day. During their discussions, however, they heard the sound of a bell chiming from far away. The source of the chiming turned out to be the old schoolhouse that they had become so well acquainted with. Given permission by Sarah and Principal Van Dyke, they descended to the lowest floor. Each and every one of them were stunned by its new appearance. Guided by Emma and Celine, who seemed to know something, they resolved to restore the building back to normal. Eventually, they found themselves in what could only be described as an otherworldly battlefield, face to face with a monstrous black shadow. After a challenging battle, they were able to defeat it, overcoming the trial that it represented. They were transported and knocked out in the aftermath, but once they'd opened their eyes, they discovered the building was back to normal. Suddenly, a door that was before them opened. On the other side stood a giant humanoid. A 7-arch tall, ash-colored knight. The next day, the second day of the festival began. Reen managed to put the knight out of his mind enough to focus on showing Elise, who had come to visit, around the academy campus. During that afternoon, the time finally came for their concert. Each of them gave their all to their performance, and they were able to finish both songs. When the audience feverishly called for an encore, Class 7 was more than prepared to perform a third. During the third song, the audience was invited to sing along, and the concert proved to be an immense success. After the concert, the after-party began. Reen thanked Crow for all that he had done for him. Encouraged by Elise, Reen also decided to spend some one-on-one time with someone close to him. Unfortunately, the party was brought to an abrupt end by the shocking proclamation from Principal Van Dyke. He appeared to tell them that Gorelia Fortress to the east had vanished without a trace. A week passed since then, and the air in Erebonia was more tense than ever before. It was concluded that the fortress's disappearance was due to an attack by Crossbell State. And it was shortly announced that Chancellor Osborne would be making a speech to the nation at noon. Reen and his classmates chose to listen to the speech through a radio in their classroom. Only Crow was missing, having supposedly gone to Heimdall to hear the speech in person. The time for the speech finally came. Osborne's words were forceful and provocative, making it clear that it would end in a declaration of war. And not just against Crossbell, but against the Calvary Republic as well, who was believed to be backing the state. However, just as he was about to make that decisive declaration, the sound of a gunshot resounded through the skies of the capital. The left side of Osborne's chest was pierced, and he collapsed to the ground in a pool of his own blood. The spectators let out terrified screams as they watched in horror. The sniper who shot him was none other than C, the Imperial Liberation Front leader, who was believed to have met his end in Ruhr. And his true identity was revealed to be a former member of Class 7, Crow Armbrust. Meanwhile, the students of Thors were able to witness the whole string of events through the radio broadcast. At first, they were merely listening to what was happening, but then Misty spoke directly to them. After she spoke, the classroom was filled with an echo of an eerie chant, and a window into what was happening appeared before them. Emma shared details about Vita, the Witch of the Abyss, whom she described as something a sister to her. However, they were all too shocked by what was happening to pay any real attention to her words. As they watched the glimmering visions of the capital before them, a giant silver airship appeared from above the clouds. From it began to fall countless humanoids, all which immediately set about taking over the city. They were 7 arch-tall knights known as Panzer Soldats. Not Panzer Dragoons or anything like that. Made with modern orbital technology. The Noble Alliance had built them some time in advance, all in preparation for this day. The Soldats used their incredible mobility to overwhelm the main battle tanks guarding Heimdall. And in no time, they reached Valflame Palace, making their occupation of the city complete. In command of that operation were members of Zephyr, the Jaeger Corps that Fee once belonged to. Nearby, Vita Clotilde stood on top of Heimdall's opera house, blissfully watching the silver arc descend upon the palace. She was met by Blue Blanc, who praised her work, addressing her as Ouroboros' second Anguis. With an elegant smile, she accepted his words, then confidently issued a proclamation. The bells are tolling for Crossbell, and preparations here are complete. Still, even this grand undertaking is but a jewel in a greater crown, the second stage of the Orpheus final plan. The symphony awaits us. Let the second movement commence. Meanwhile, Reed and his classmates weren't allowed much time to process what they had just seen. Not long after their window on Heimdall closed, they realized that Soldats were fast approaching Trista too. Sarah, Neidhart, the principal, and several other instructors defended the west exit valiantly. Eventually, they also received the aid of Sharon, who revealed herself to be an enforcer of Ouroboros. But while they still had their hands full, another group of Soldats began approaching from east of the town. As such, Class 7 resolved to protect the east exit themselves. The battle for Trista began. First, Class 7 fought against the Draken Soldat. By aiming for its joints, they emerged victorious. But it was a sad twist of fate. They were powerless to defeat the much stronger Spiegel unit the Terra Scarlet was piloting. Reen resolved to use the power deep within him as a last resort. Dost thou desire the power? But before he could, he heard a voice resounding in his mind. He was standing in a strange empty space. Before him stood Celine, who urged him to call the voice's name. Loud and clearly, he did just that. Heed my call. Valimar, the Ashen Knight! With a bang, the humanoid that they found in the old schoolhouse came flying through the air towards them. It landed, and Reen entered its core along with Celine. Although he had never seen the inside of such a thing before, he instinctively knew how to pilot it, and with that knowledge, he was able to easily best Scarlet's Spiegel. The air was filled with the cheers of his classmates. but they were soon silenced by a familiar voice. Whoa, whoa, hold up just a sec. Aren't you forgetting something? It came from above. The source of the voice was a large blue humanoid, once similar to the Divine Knight Reen was piloting. It was the Azure Knight, Ordine, piloted by none other than Crow. Reen despaired at the thought of having to fight him after all the time they had spent together. He tried whatever he could to reason with him, desperately attempting to avoid any further conflict. Yet Crow refused to listen, and with a wry smile, he declared that the Crow Reen thought he knew was never real. Nonetheless, Reen made one last-ditch attempt at trying to change his mind. So that's the plan if you win, huh? But what about if I win? Reen trusted that Crow would come back to him and the rest of Class 7 if he proved victorious, and the battle between the two Divine Knights began. The power of Crow's Azure Knight was immense. But Reen fought back as hard as he could, and he found himself able to fight on equal terms. Finally, Reen saw the decisive opening he had been searching for. Enlightened domination. The Azure Knight fell to its knees from the impact of Valimar and Reen's attack. His classmates cried out with relief, but that relief was not to last. The next moment, the Azure Knight transformed, surging with mana. It drew closer to the Ashen Knight. Reen was stunned. All it took was a single hit from Ordine to send him flying backwards, defeated. His consciousness began to fade, and all he could do was wince in fear as the Azure Knight approached. No, you don't! Without hesitation, his classmates stood between him and Ordine in a protective stance. They didn't have a chance of defeating it, but they were determined not to let it draw any closer to Reen. Together, they resolved to buy him the time to escape, believing that he could one day bring the war to an end. Reen tried to protest, but Selene ordered Valimar to retreat from the area. Reen cried out in objection, his consciousness growing ever fainter. From outside, one of his close friends bade him a private farewell. It was clear from their voice how much they cared for him, how prepared they were to face anything, even death. Fighting back tears, Reen cried out to them as the Ashen Knight took to the sky. All he could do was watch from above as the hopeless battle began. No! They need me! Let me stay! His cries resounded endlessly throughout the crimson sky. Trails of Cold Steel. End. And yeah, that is the end of Trails of Cold Steel 1. So, with the character profiles, I'm pretty sure they just give us a rundown on the characters. Yeah, they pretty much do. So, it's not anything that's worth bragging over. So, anyway, with all that said and done, I think we can now finally get started with this game. Let's put it on easy mode, since normal mode was a little bit difficult near the end of the game. And loading clear data from the original game will allow you to obtain a special bonus in this one. So load clear data from the original, only clear data from Trails of Cold Steel can be loaded. Yes, we're going to do that. So we're going to get this clear data, and based on Reen's level, the following bonuses were received. All Sepith based on 100 on the amount. Attack 1, which will give anybody strength of additional strength, as well as Zeram Powder, which will give them, I think, one person or the whole party 200 SP points in order to use their special attacks. But yeah. Anyway, we're done with that. Now it's time for us to get on with the story.
I was bewildered. I was impatient. I felt overwhelming disappointment with myself and anger at my own weaknesses.
Thanks for worrying about me. And thanks for reminding me to look up, not down. On my first day with Class 7, I was sitting in a room full of strangers. Now I know I'm standing among friends.
But even with that, I've got no regrets about coming to Thor's. None at all.
Well, you sound like a good guy to have around when the going gets tough. But getting to know you two showed me that there are nobles who live up to that name.
You just keep reminding me how unlike a noble you truly are.
Before I came to the academy, I was a Jaeger.
But I'm confident Class 7 is the finest Erebonia has to offer. I can't believe it! My very first class trip! We're gonna have the best time!
You deserve the chance to earn that legacy you were talking about. To leave a light for those who'll come after.
So brilliant was my time at the academy that those feelings consumed my every thought, my every waking moment. The time I spent with my classmates was something that, in so many ways, changed me. From the strict yet kind instructors who diligently taught us, to the people we met as we traveled across the country. The time spent with them, my memories of them, were like a truly radiant light. And somewhere, a part of me thought that radiance would continue shining for ages to come. But all it took was a single bullet to bring everything crashing down.
Go finish your speech in hell.
That bullet sparked a fire which grew and grew before our eyes, evolving into a great flame that smothered our light in an instant.
Well played, Armbrust.
There were no exceptions, be it those seemingly never-ending days or anything else I'd come to treasure.
Resound, resound, O voice everlasting! Rend night's silent veil and reveal unto all the beautiful world!
Everything was reduced to ash.
But at the end of the day, I'm C. That's the real deal. The crow armbrust you've known all this time, he isn't real. He never was.
Back then, I still didn't understand. I didn't know the pure bliss that comes from being with others, nor did I know the ache that comes from parting with them. I didn't understand what it meant to truly love someone. All I could do was endure the torment of my own sense of powerlessness and bottle up the feelings I could do nothing about. All while trying desperately to fight against that ever-burning flame.
The Isengard Range Canyon. Oh, we're in Lord of the Rings territory, huh? No, not really. Just had to make that reference. Looks like we're close to Ymir, based on the geography layout of what this game has going for. And Rinzin is still in his Class 7 uniform, too. Still unconscious? Oh, you're gonna call a black-haired boy a git? It's like, oh, come on! We already know who he is.
Where am I?
Reen Schwarzer. Yep, okay, finally you call him that. And that didn't even take long.
How did I get here? I feel like I was fighting, and then... Am I dreaming?
Of course not. So you've finally woken up.
You're...
And I wish it were, but this is no dream. This is reality. Cold, cruel reality. And you're going to need to hurry up and accept that because you haven't got time to waste. His core's been damaged, which means he's not going anywhere anytime soon. So you're going to need to protect yourself, Ashen Awakener.
The Legend of Heroes, Trails of Cold Steel 2. And it's already November, 1 month after Reen got separated from everybody.
Ashen Awakener? What are you talking about? Wait. What's going on here anyway? What is that thing? Wait, never mind that. What are you?
Ugh, knock it off. How am I supposed to answer anything when you keep bombarding me with question after question?
Yep, Celine, the black cat.
You're a chosen one. Chosen by a fragment of the ancient great power.
Great power?
That's right. Those fragments were the origin of the great knights that appear in Erebonian legends. At times, they protected people from harm and disaster, while at others, they were the cause of harm and disaster themselves. And the being in front of you is one of them, a divine knight known as the Ashen Knight.
The Ashen Knight? Valimar? Wait. I remember when I called him.
You got it. You've known that name for a while by now. But he's not the only divine knight that's active. The noble faction has one under their control too. That one is known as the Azure Knight, or Dean. Remember? That's the one you fought and lost against.
Why? Why did it come to this? Why did everyone... Crow?
He had me fooled too. How could I have known that irresponsible playboy was the Azure Knight's Awakener? He's obviously had plenty of experience piloting it too. He must be pretty dedicated to his cause, whatever it is.
Hey, get up! You can hear me, right? Take me back to Trista! Take me back to my classmates!
You're wasting your time. His core was heavily damaged in the battle with the Azure Knight. Didn't I just tell you that? And despite that, he strained himself flying all the way out here afterwards. Even when he was barely hanging on, he prioritized your recovery over his own. You exhausted yourself during your first synchronization with him, you know?
Damn it! This must be somewhere in the Isengard range, on the northern side of the Nortia province.
Huh. I'm surprised you were able to work that out just from a glance. I guess that's what happens when you're raised in the mountain. Hey, where are you going?
Looks like our gameplay starts. Yep, and we got a good learning of the controls here. So it pretty much is the same from the last game, too. And of course we get the option for the save system as well, that we can do from the camp menu. And we also get a notification about the notebook. The main notebook allows you to read a summary of the story thus far, while the help notebook contains information on how to play the game. You can access both by pressing the back button or by choosing the notes section in the camp menu, then flipping through the various tabs. You can also confirm your current objective by pressing the X button to access the navigation screen. And the navigation screen, you can confirm your current story objective by pressing the X button. But anyways, yes. We are finally getting started, and it looks like that the animation's a bit more improved than usual. Well, the running animation, that is. The Azure Knight is resting peacefully. It looks like it's going to be a while longer before his mana finishes replenishing. I don't have time to worry about him now. I need to go find the others. So, yeah. Yep,
My stuff's gotta be around here somewhere. I can sense monsters nearby too. I'm gonna need to be careful.
You can actually see that his school portrait's down here, but you can actually see his updated portrait for this game is right there at the left. Found my equipment. This looks like all of my gear. Good thing I managed to find everything. I better set the Master Quartz in my orbment, too. Set the Master Quartz into Reen's Arcus. Quartz can be set in an orbment section of the camp menu. Orbments, and then battle orbments, and then quartz, yeah. They're pretty much the same as the previous one, or the previous game. And, something tells me that they're probably going to be at the... We're probably going to be starting this over from scratch, the quartz and all the things that we got from the previous game. So, if we just go... Yeah, you can actually see Reen's new look, and he starts at level 40. Instead, we finished Trails of Cold Steel 1 at level 65, so it does scale back the level a little bit to start us off right here. Orbit, quartz, and looks like all of his Arcus units are actually, I mean, all the slots in his Arcus unit are actually unlocked. And we still get the Force Gem, but that will bring us back to level 1, if anything, which I'm not really happy by. But, and we're kind of running a little short on provisions at this time. So, since we don't have everything on us, we'll just have to make do with what we have on us at this time. So, yep, we'll just have to go along with that, and we're probably going to have to fight some monsters coming up pretty soon, like that thing. That monster looks like a tough one, but a tough foe's just what I need to get warmed up. And of course, we can hit the A button to attack enemies, so... walk into and they give us the different types of advantages if we were to actually, you know, attack the enemy, or if the enemy managed to get us from behind and that kind of stuff. So it's pretty much the same there. So if we can try to get this guy, well, we couldn't even get it in a state where it could get itself unconscious. But yes. And the battle music is actually a bit different than the first Trails of Cold Steel. I'll definitely have to give it a good listen and see if I actually like it better than the first one, but from what I'm listening to right now, it doesn't seem to be the case. I mean, it sounds pretty good. So, we're fighting Helm Scorpions here. And we can get craft points, and we can actually use the craft points to do those abilities that you actually see right there. And getting 200 of those craft points, that will actually get us to use our S-craft abilities. Okay. Alright, seems like everything is in still good working order. I don't want to use a craft yet. I want to use go ahead and use an art on this guy. Oh, that did a lot of damage there. And we managed to finish that off in flying colors. But hey, the victory music is still the same, so that's at least a good thing to hear, right? Some things definitely haven't even changed there. Doesn't look like I gained experience in that battle. Not bad. The monsters around here shouldn't be a problem if you can keep that up. No, I can do better. I need to hurry up and get back in fighting form. Hey! Well, you're gonna have to catch up with him, kitty cat. You can now view the monster guide. Okay, so this is telling us about the monster guide as well. But yeah, it's pretty much the same as the previous game. Yeah, as you could just plainly see. You now view the active voice record. The active voice record lists the last 50 active voice lines heard, allowing you to reread them or listen to them again. Oh, okay.
I wonder what's going on over at the academy now.
Well, gee, I wouldn't even...
Slow down a minute.
I wouldn't even know since...
One way to find out.
I wouldn't even know what's going on at the academy because Thanksgiving's already passed, Reen. Even though Thanksgiving don't really exist in the world you're from.
If I keep going this way, I should be able to get out of the canyon.
Excuse me. You can't seriously be thinking of leaving him there out in the open, are you? Hey, say something. Are you mad at me or something?
Why would I be? You only completely disregarded and overruled my decision.
What else was I supposed to do? If we hadn't flown away when we did, you'd be dead by now. We probably would have lost Valimar, too. If anything, you should be thanking me.
Forget it. Right now, I want to focus on finding the others. If I keep going this way, I should end up on the highway at some point.
Sorry, but that's a huge waste of time. It's been over a month since all of that stuff happened back in Trista.
What?
A month?
Yeah. You can definitely see, if you remember, that the end of the game took place on October 30th, and now we're at November 29th.
You can't be serious. There's no way it's been that long.
Oh, sure, don't believe me. Like I said, you completely exhausted yourself during your first synchronization with the Ashen Knight. And I do mean completely. There was a real chance you could have died.
What?
It's a miracle you're able to walk around like this a mere month later, and it's all thanks to him. He used what little mana he had left to heal you rather than himself. And just so you know, I've been here this whole time, watching over you. So I really don't think I deserve all of this animosity I'm getting from you.
This can't be. It's been a whole month since what happened near Trista. But then, what happened to the others?
Hey, wait a... Oh, for heaven's sake!
Well, just stick around with him, kitty cat. Anyway, the minimap. And we can expand our... expand the minimap by pressing the start button. But it allows us to see the area's topography as well. Okay. I don't think that'll be one... I don't think that one will be easy to cut down with my sword. Might be better off using arts. Okay, so we're getting back to using arts in this one. Notice how he steps, Notice how he steps a lot farther. Anyway, the arts abilities. And they give us the idea of what the elemental efficiency is for every one of these guys. But I only have fire elemental efficiency on me right now, so... And it definitely seems to be very effective against these guys. Because I'm definitely winning. And I definitely didn't take any damage in that battle. I got through that unscathed. Oh, I am getting experience, I just wasn't even noticing there. Okay. So yeah, we can't go up that way, and we need to go down this way. And there's a save point right over here, and we can, yeah, it's an ornament charging station. Well, whatever it is, this will be a good point to return if I need a recharge. Yep, so we'll definitely have to use that in case we need to restore our hit points and EP. So let's go ahead and rest up here real quick. And we got the resting music, the same as the previous game. But it's always good to hear new tunes every now and then, even if this is like part 2 of one single game. Isengard Range 2.
You could really try calming down a little, you know. You could at least respond.
Sorry, but a lot's on his mind, kitty cat. Okay, so Orbment. Let's go ahead and put in that tier art. I mean, that tier art, so that way we can use it in case we get in a real pinch with our hit points. That one looks pretty powerful. Still, I can't let something like this throw me off. I need to hurry up and get back up to speed. The stronger, the better. Reen can now use the S-Craft Azure Flame Slash. Oh, so we're back to using that, huh? I don't mind, but this will actually be perfect for me. Anyway, let's go ahead and use that ability. Status Efficacy. So yes, it's giving us the rundown on what some of the how strong of the efficacy, or the status efficacy that it can be on some of these enemies, so that's a good thing to know. And of course, we get the abnormal statuses, just like in the previous game, so pretty much is the same. Anyways, since we have over 100 craft points, it's time for us to actually see if we can actually get the rundown on them. But if anything, we should be able to actually use it. Azure Flame Slash these guys into oblivion. Yep, the animations are definitely a lot different, so I actually kind of like them a lot better. They're actually more detailed, if you ask me. He's like the experience gauge actually takes a lot longer to fill, but what can you do, right? That about wraps that up. I feel like I've gotten the hang of fighting again. Now I just need to focus on getting down this mountain as fast as I can. Wait! Well, he has a lot of... He needs some time to cope with the reality of what's going on, Celine, so you're just gonna have to bear it. You're not gonna get a response out of him, kitty cat. So it's like... It's like, you better just bear it. Stealth frogs, eh? Oh, these are just small fry. And we still get at least 5 craft points for every time we take damage. Okay, so we can actually do this again if we want to, or we can just do this to actually get a good hang of trying to do a lot of damage onto them if we need to. Looks like we managed to take one down, but we didn't get the others. So we might as well go ahead and get the others in this this bout. There we go. Overkill for a triple kill. Reen says you need to make up for lost time. Oh yeah, you do. I mean, if you want to hope to find your comrades so that way you can bring them back together to end the war, we better get a move on. I'm not a really big fan of the stepping in this game. Like, you know, when Reen does his slashes in the first game, he actually, you know, doesn't try to move forward or anything like that. But now that's a common thing in this game. And honestly, I'm really not that too big of a fan of that. Firebolts. Still not enough to actually take it down quickly. Can I get one of them down real quick? Actually, I got a better idea. Crafts. Do it on all of them. This ought to work. Well, we did get at least one of them. So, let's get them on the others. There we go. Now that's what I want to see. We're definitely using our heads with this one. Still not enough to level 41 yet, but we'll get there eventually. And hello there, Flame Chocobo. Welcome to the stream, man. I just got started with this game after going through an hour of recapping the first game, so haven't really gotten that far. And everyone is doing just fine, although I haven't really heard anybody say anything in the chat, even though that kind of makes me worried. But hey, doing really well, man. Although I'm pretty sure that a lot of people are wanting me to go back to doing fighting games and whatnot. Do you have a Steam account? Well, yeah, I do have a Steam account. That's how I'm playing this game, is off of Steam. There, Flame Chocobo.
I'd asked this before and didn't get an answer. Probably because I was bombarding you with question after question. But better late than never, I guess. Just what are you anyway? Why do you know so much about everything? And don't even think of saying you're just an ordinary cat. Because last time I tried talking to a cat, it did not talk back.
Oopsie. Totally forgot about that, didn't I? I'm what you'd call a familiar. I faithfully serve the witches of the Hexen clan and aid them in fulfilling their duties.
Witches? As in the witches in Erebonian legend?
I could add you on Steam. Oh, yeah, I mean, if you want to do that, that's fine. I just go by my Steam name, RRPGReviews, like, I would, or, yeah, it's RRPGReviews, like I always do.
Legend turns out to be based on a true story. Now this? I feel like I've stepped into a fairy tale.
Well, you know what they say. Truth is stranger than fiction. Whether you believe me or not is up to you. I'm not going to try and convince you.
Oh, I've got no real reason to doubt you at this point. So, do you serve Emma then? Rather, does that mean she's a witch?
She's still a novice, but she is a witch, yes. My job's more to keep an eye on her, though.
Okay, I just saw your friend request, too. Thank you, Flame Chocobo.
I did always get the sense that there was more to Emma than meets the eye. Guess we were right. But her being a witch? It's surprising. But then again, the more I think about it, the more it makes perfect sense.
What's with the goofy grin?
Oh, it's nothing. Anyway, let's get going.
Well, we did get something out of Celine there. What's over here? There's gotta be... Oh, no, not there. Oh, it does lead us to this way, so we might as well go ahead and take that path.
Enemies in sight. Ready to go?
Yeah, but I didn't take time to actually, you know, attack the enemies to get them to stumble. This game is... I would have to say, from what I've experienced, it's definitely a lot less forgiving when it comes to... trying to stun them and give us that advantage that we need to fight back. But then again, I just only started playing this game, so I can't really judge it that much. Because I'm pretty sure there's a lot more to this game than meets the eye from what we've seen so far. There we go. Double advantage, and let's go ahead and use the arts on them, so that way we can actually take them down very quickly, since they are weak against fire arts. There we go.
I need to hurry and find the others.
This is stressful.
And if you're wondering if that's Sean Chiplock returning as Reen Schwarzer in this game, then yes, that is correct. I think all the cast from the previous game make a return for their respective characters in this game. Alright, we got to level 41 as Reen.
Need to get my strength back.
So yes, seems like everything is about the same as it was last time we were at level 40 in Trails of Cold Steel 1. Proxy Puppet in the chest. Now with Proxy Puppets, I think that accessory, it actually, yeah, revives on KO with 50% HP once, but breaks afterwards. So, yes, I totally remember about that. It's definitely very good to have in case if you end up getting, if your character gets knocked out in battle. I gotta say, I like the music for this section of the game. The Isengard range actually just feels perfect. Flame Impact. Can we try Flame Impact here? It doesn't look like we're gonna be able to get all of them. Actually, we could get all of them with Gale. Does that get them all? Yes, it does. Swift. Very swift. That was a very swift victory for me, and I'm happy by that. Okay. Time to go through Isengard Range 3 and see where that will lead us.
I hope everyone in the academy's safe and sound. Not to mention Elise, Princess Alphen, and Prince Oliver, too.
A lot to care about. I'm pretty sure they're all right, Reen. We just gotta have faith in them, man. Seeing as how we're already in the middle of civil war between the nobles and commoners.
I need to take a deep breath and keep calm. I can start figuring things out once I get a little farther down.
About time.
Just give him some time, Celine. We got triple advantage here. So we can take down this bird brain in 2 hits. Just like that. Alright, so that takes care of that. We're getting U materials up the wazoo, so that's definitely going to be very helpful to us when we get new pieces of equipment, or, you know, or upgraded forms of weaponry. Alright. I'm going to use the S-Craft on all of them right now. Azure Flame Slash. I'm going to see this nice, awesome new animation, too. Looks good. Oh man, that was brilliant. Just like seeing that animation for when he's able to defeat enemies that quickly. Makes him definitely look like a strong leader with that type of material. Anyway, go ahead and restore our hit points here, too. And just so you guys know, we will be returning to this tomorrow night, so hope you all will be around for that, too. Do we fight a boss here coming up pretty soon? I don't know. But Reen has definitely got something that's catching his eye right now.
I knew it! I've been here before. Master Ka-Fi brought me here as part of my training.
That's the name of your former instructor, right?
Yeah. He was the founder of the 8 Leaves, 1 Blade School of Swordsmanship that I follow. His full name's Master Yun Ka-Fi, though most just know him as the Sword Hermit. Man, when was the last time I came here? Must have been, I don't know, 5 years ago. In fact, if I remember right, my hometown of Ymir is only a few hours away.
Oh, really? Well, that's convenient. Wanna head there? We might be able to get there by sundown.
If we hurry, yeah? As soon as we get to Ymir, I want to try and gather information on what's been going on.
Uh-oh.
What was that? It feels like it's coming closer.
And it's mechanical, it sounds like. Oh, nice! They got the boss battle music again. Good to hear a familiar music cue. Magic Knight Ortheim. Or Ortheim.
It's a magic knight!
You know what that thing is?
They're magic golems made during the Dark Ages, and they're incredibly strong. Damn it, what's one doing here?
Oh boy. And we don't even have Valimar with us. This could prove to be a really big problem for us.
We need to get out of here, now! You don't stand a chance against it on your own.
Maybe not. But that's not going to stop me from trying.
You idiot! You're still recovering! You don't stand a chance!
We'll see about that. All I know is that it's standing between me and everyone I care about. So if getting to them means taking this thing on, so be it!
Unbelievable.
Or is this the new boss battle theme for this game? If it is, then I actually kind of like it.
Bring it on! Here I go!
Oh wow, this looks like to be an easy win for us. Ooh. This actually could prove to be very much in our favor to beat this thing. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, this is gonna be an easy win for us for sure. Actually, do that so that way we can get the health replenishing going on for us. Yes. Oh, nice. Oh, cool. We get a 0 arts in the process there where we can use this again. Nice. And it missed us. Huh. Wow, I'm taking down this guy like it's nothing. Like it's nothing. We're making some pretty good advantages taking down this thing. Reen, I'm pretty sure by the time when you get to Ymir, you're gonna want to, you know, change your getup, buddy. Ouch. Nice. Use a firebolt. There we go. If anything, we probably better use the Azure Flame Strike now while it's hot. Oh boy. We did a lot of damage to it. We're kicking some butt. But it looks like it's pretty mad now. What are you talking about? You're actually doing really well.
We're so close to Ymir too.
I told you this would happen. Get back!
Oh boy. Oh no. Oh no, come on. Push yourself, Reen. Don't give up now, man.
Not today, buddy.
Uh-oh.
See you later. Cross Crusade.
Oh, wow. Managed to take down that Magic Knight without any problem. Oh, yeah. You're going bye-bye. But who did that?
Are we safe?
Who did that? Reen! Reen!
Oh, boy. Elise, Alphen, and Toval came to our aid.
Whew. Made it without a second to spare. Good to see you're still in one piece.
I'm so glad we hurried. I don't want to even imagine what could have happened if we weren't in time. You aren't hurt, are you?
Your Highness? And Toval. And...
Reen, stay right there! Please, tell me you're all right. You look so exhausted. Who's she?
Elise? It's really you. I feel like I'm dreaming. I never would have expected you to come all the way out here.
Reen, please! There's no need to speak right now. Save your strength. We'll take you back to Ymir just as soon as we've seen to your injuries.
I'm just so glad you're alright. But how did you know I was here?
Yeah, poor Reen got beaten up.
Consciousness began to fade. I heard a distinct voice resound at the back of my mind. A voice with all the gravity of steel, and yet a strange sense of familiarity, of warmth. And as I listened, I could feel myself being beckoned towards the Wheel of Fortune.
This is no game show, Reen. What are you talking about?
Dost thou desire the power?
Oh, Valimar. And here we go with the intro for Trails of Cold Steel 1. Well, the introductory thing right here. Like what we've seen in the first game. Reen Schwarzer. Elisa Reinford. Elliot Craig and Laura S. Arcade. Machias Regnance and Emma Milstein. Fee Clausel and Yusuf Albarea. Guys Warzel and Milliam Orion. Toval, Claire, and Sarah. Toa, Angelica, and George. Elisa, Alphen, Olivert, Victor, and Sharon. Celine and Valimar, of course. So it looks like a lot of them are going to be on Reen's side this time, aside from our friend, you know, those of Class 7. Crow Armbrust, oh, that dirty devil. Vita Clotilde. And Duvale and Blue Blanc. Leonidas and Zeno. McBurn. Funny name. Altina Orion and Lecter Arundel. Rufus Albarea. Duke Cayenne, who looks like to be the main antagonist of this game. Trails of Cold Steel 2. Oh boy, who would have knew that this day was coming? Alright, so one day later, on November 30th, on a Tuesday, in the Sepith calendar 1204. Yep, they're back in Ymir.
Where am I now?
Celine.
This looks just like my room.
Yep, Ymir. Nice.
I knew it. I'm back in Ymir. I'm finally back home. My memories are kind of hazy now, but I think that means everything that happened in the mountains.
Why'd it get so cold all of a sudden? Oh, you finally woke up?
Yeah, just a second ago. How about you? Feeling better after a cat nap?
I guess.
Why does the calendar transition remind me a lot of Persona? Well, gee, Jeff, I couldn't even tell you, man.
I slept more than I meant to, actually. You're awake.
Yep, it's Elise Schwarzer, Reen's younger sister. Adopted sister.
Good morning. Actually, it's probably closer to noon now, isn't it?
Aw, she's got tears in her eyes.
Elise?
Oh, I'm so happy that you're awake. You don't know how scared I was. There was all that chaos in the capital, and then we lost all contact with you. We had no idea where you were. I'm just so relieved.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry for worrying you so much, Elise.
No, you don't need to apologize. I knew that somewhere out there you were all right, and that you'd come back safe. Welcome home, Reen.
It's good to be back. And thanks.
Our two little lovebirds are as Twitter-pated as ever.
Oh, Alphen, you know how to ruin a mood, don't you?
Pardon? Good morning, Reen. And to you as well, Elise.
Hey there. Just swinging by to see how you're holding up.
You're here too, Your Highness? I'm really not dreaming then.
Yep, Alphen, Rice, Arnor, as well as Toval.
Oh, you're so silly, Reen. I would have thought the warmth of your dear sister pressed against your chest was proof enough of that. Your Highness, please.
And then Toval, Randa Newer.
I'm just glad you're up. How are you feeling? Still sore?
If you remember, in Trails of Cold Steel 1, Toval did not even have a voice actor. So this is the first time we're actually hearing him being voiced by one.
You've been fast asleep since we brought you back here yesterday.
I don't have any serious injuries, at least. But I doubt I'd be able to say that if you hadn't come when you did. Thanks, Toval.
I suppose I owe you my thanks, too. That art of yours didn't come a moment too soon.
You're both very welcome. I just didn't want to give these two young ladies anything to cry about.
Aww.
I see you're finally up.
Dad! Mom!
So, Baron Tio Schwarzer.
Hello, Reen. It's wonderful to see you back home.
I imagine you have plenty of questions running through your mind, but first and foremost is getting you something to eat.
Oh yeah, that's David Lodge voicing Reen's father there.
We can discuss what to do from here on out after that.
And now I'm pretty sure we're going to see Reen in his winter gear. And yes, the town of Ymir, the hot springs paradise. And it's snowing in November. Well, then again, it wouldn't be that too far-fetched. Well, not exactly the winter gear I was hoping, but it's a start. Lydia Lucia Schwarzer. And then Baron Tio Schwarzer. It's been a month now since that so-called Noble Alliance occupied Heimdall. At present, they have effectively all the nation's major cities under their control. The Imperial Army tried what they could to stop their advances, but the majority of their forces have already been defeated. I had a feeling that would be the case. If nothing else, at least you two are safe. We were at Saint Estrella when the capital was occupied, so we were caught up in the chaos too. It was only thanks to Toval appearing and rescuing us that we're sitting here now. What were you doing there, Toval? I got an urgent request to escort Her Highness and Miss Elise to safety. As soon as I got that, I booked it there as fast as I could. I never turned down a personal request from Prince Oliver, you know. Oh, the prince is always thinking ahead. Prince Oliver asked you? Well, that explains it. He kindly escorted us out of the capital, successfully evading the Noble Alliance's attempts to pursue us. And roughly 10 days later, we were able to reach Ymir. I'm just so glad that you made it here safely. Unfortunately, it appears His Majesty the Emperor and Crown Prince Cedric fell into the Alliance's hands. The official story is that both of them have been taken into protective custody, so they're both rumored to be safe. However, Prince Oliver's whereabouts currently remain unknown. There's not even a confirmation that he's safe somewhere? That's more than a little worrying. You needn't be so concerned. I'm sure he's perfectly well. He made it through the chaos in Liberal last year unharmed, as you know. He's always been a resilient one. As for Cedric, father and mother, I'd like to believe they're all right too. I'm sure they are, Your Highness. I'm worried about the Imperial family as much as anyone, but if you don't mind me interjecting. Reen, I imagine you're probably most concerned about what happened to Trista and Thors. Luckily for you, we managed to get some info on that front. Oh, good. We need to hear this. Please, tell me everything you know. What happened over the academy? Is everyone alright? I don't think this will come as much of a shock to you, but both Trista and Thor's military academy are completely under the Noble Alliance forces' control now. They were both taken not long after the war began. No. Reen? No matter how much I thought about it, I didn't want to believe it was true. What about the students and our instructors? Honestly, I wish I had more I could tell you. There are rumors that they resisted being occupied as long as they could, but not much more than that. Try not to let concern get the best of you. It's too early to presume the worst has happened. Yeah, I'm with Lord Schwarzer here. On the contrary, some rumors would even suggest the opposite. What rumors? Word has it that a number of students and staff are unaccounted for, and the Noble Alliance is still trying to find them. Then that means... have some of them managed to escape? Well, rumors are rumors. Still, your classmates and Sarah have more than gotten their feet wet at this point. I can't see them being taken down easily. The odds sound pretty good if you ask me. What say you? What else can I say? I would have to agree. Celine? I couldn't tell you where she is right now. But Emma's still alive. That's guaranteed. You can tell? I'm her familiar, so we've got a link of some kind between us. If anything were to happen to her, trust me, I know about it. All I know is that she's alive, though. Nothing else. How peculiar. Anyway, there's no point assuming the worst when there's every chance that it hasn't happened. So try keeping the faith, alright? Think of it this way. They're probably just as worried about you as you are for them, and yet here you are, safe and sound. You've got a point, actually. Safe and sound you may very well be, but you're hardly in peak condition. Take this chance to stay home for a time and recover your strength. And while you're here, why not go pay everyone a visit? The whole village has been eagerly awaiting your recovery. That's true. I think they'd all be delighted to see you. And, if you'd like, I'd be happy to accompany you. Thanks for the concern, Elise, but I'll be fine on my own. Honest. That sounds like a good idea, Mom. I think I'll do just that. Prologue, The Depths of Despair. So we finally got started with the prologue for this game. It looks like Elise and Princess Alphen have already gone out. Like Mom said, it might not be a bad idea to follow suit. This could be a good chance to walk around the village and collect myself a bit. Anyways, so, then this will tell us about the event markers, so that way we can actually, go to those places in order to progress the story if we want to, which we will have to for the prologue segment, since there's really no side quests or anything like that. But, Ymir's town map can be accessed by pressing the X button. Okay, and the town map allows you to confirm the present location of both important characters and objectives. Okay. Okay, yeah, so we can actually see where the important characters are, and looks like from where we're at, we can actually talk to some important characters here inside the mansion too, which I'm assuming is both Lucia as well as Tio. When I think of Lucia, I think of Lucia from Lunar 2 Eternal Blue, and when I think of Tio, I think of Tio McDole from Suikoden 1. Tyr's father. And yes, this is my room. And I don't have my katana on me, so unfortunately I cannot even wield it. Which honestly wouldn't make any sense, but anyway, let's talk to the Baron. All the Empire's major cities are under the control of the Noble Alliance now. They've been so focused on those, they haven't had the time to deal with the frontier regions like ours. Thankfully, this means that Ymir hasn't felt the full impact of the Civil War. It does seem that way. I was relieved to see how little's changed. A nice snowfall is the only real difference compared to my last visit. By the way, I see you chose not to join the Noble Alliance. Is everything alright on that front? Well, I never wanted anything to do with the Noble faction to begin with. There's always the chance they'll try to invite me to join, but I'm confident I can talk my way out of it. I'm a little concerned that I can't get in touch with Viscount Arcade, however. You can't? Did something happen over in Legram? Or maybe even the Courageous? I'm afraid I couldn't tell you, but it's Viscount Arcade we're talking about. He'll be fine. Regardless, I'm just trying to make sure that we're well prepared for anything. Especially since our duties have expanded to sheltering Her Highness. That's true. The Alliance already has His Majesty and the Crown Prince, so it's safe to assume they want Princess Alphen as well. Dad, let me know if there's anything I can do to make your job easier. I'm more than happy to help. Of course. I'm sure I'll be counting on you in the days to come. Still, start with trying not to rush things. You shouldn't have to jump to thinking you need to shoulder more than your fair share of responsibility. There's only so much burden that one person can bear. You think I'm shouldering too much? Admittedly, those are Master Kafai's words and not mine. But they get across what I want to say well enough. And whether I think it or not, this is a good chance for you to get some well-earned rest. I want you to make the most of it, alright? Sure. Thanks, Dad. Ah, nice conversation between father and son right there, even if they are adopted. I don't see Miss Elise in this room, or Miss Lucia in this room, so she must be downstairs somewhere, either in the kitchen or somewhere around the foyer or somewhere. Yes, she is in the kitchen. Wow, that smells delicious. Wait a second, is that pheasant stew? Your very favorite. Your father said that he wanted you to have a nourishing dinner, so he went and caught one himself. Really? I'll be sure to thank him later. Speaking of food, you've got a lot going on here. It smells amazing. Well, the circumstances may not be ideal, but it's been too long since we last dined together as a family. And ever since Her Highness arrived, it's been so lively that I feel like I've gained a second daughter. Times like these are when a mother has to put her best foot forward. Don't you think? You really are the perfect mother. Even in times like these, you're right here, ready to warmly welcome us home with open arms. I can't see that ever changing. If only I were half as good a son as you are a mom. Mom? Is something wrong? That's not true at all. When I had no idea what was going on with you and your sister, I worried myself sick. At times, it felt as though my chest was going to burst from it all. Hey, Lucia, don't even think about chest bursters at this time. Obviously, you haven't even seen the Alien franchise. And chest bursters, they come out of a little thing called face huggers, and face huggers are probably the thing that's scary about the Alien franchise because they stick to your head, and they ingest its offspring inside a person's esophagus into its stomach. And then, mere hours later, the chest bursters will grow and pop out of a person's chest and get them dead. Yeah. It's just that bad. But believing that you two would come back to me safely was the key to keeping myself together. With that in mind, I could focus instead of I can focus instead on getting this house ready to welcome you both home. Mom? Whatever doubts you may have about your place in this family, as long as you're here in this house, you're our son. If you're ever feeling down or afraid, you can always find comfort in my arms. And then, once you've found the strength to keep going, you can pick things back up right where you left them. Thanks, Mom. I actually feel a lot better now. Well, look forward to dinner tonight. And make sure you work up a good appetite for it, alright? Haha, no worries there. Alright, so we're done talking inside the Schwarzer household, and now it's time for us to start talking to some of the people within town. So yes, we're getting a good look at the town of Ymir here, and looks like everything's pretty snowy in this region, but then again, we are already at the end of November, so wintertime is vastly approaching. Okay, so this will bring us to an event here in Ymir Valley. But, Ymir Valley, it's probably not a good ideal situation to do that right now, even though we probably want to talk to some of the people that are around town. So, Princess Alphen's inside the Septian Church, the Ymir Chapel. So yeah, it pretty much looks the same like the one in Trista.
She's praying so intently. Thinking about it, she must be even more distressed right now than I am.
Why, hello, Reen! You're looking rather well today. Much better than you were yesterday, at any rate.
I feel loads better, actually. Thanks. How about you? Are you managing all right here? I'm guessing life in a tiny village like this is harder than you're used to. If there's anything I can do to make things easier for you, though, don't hesitate to let me know.
Oh, not at all. I've been simply loving my stay here. The scenery is stunning. The hot springs are oh so soothing. To say nothing of your mother's spectacular cooking. I'm having the time of my life here. I almost envy Elise for growing up in such a wonderful place.
I'm happy to hear you say that. Still.
On top of all that, I was able to reunite with you here.
Aww.
Oh, and meet a mysterious talking cat, too. Not everyone gets to do that now, do they? I still haven't had the pleasure of meeting that Ashen Knight of yours, however.
Well, you won't be able to meet him right now, Alphen, because he's still trying to recover his strength before he comes back to us.
Perhaps I might have the chance once he wakes up? I suppose I can dream.
Well...
Oh! You stroking her hair like you do for Elise, like you did for Elisa in the previous game when we were in Ruhr. Oh, Reen, some things never change, man.
I realize I'm the last person who has any right to say this, but there's no need to force yourself to bottle everything up and put on a brave face. I know how worried I am about my classmates, so I can only imagine how you must feel.
Aww.
I'm so sorry. I'm supposed to be royalty. I shouldn't be getting all worked up about something like this, but
Hey, it's okay to show weakness, Alphen. It's okay.
Just thinking of what my family must be going through is just too much to bear. Cedric and I, we had a fight on the morning it all happened. I was planning to make up with him that evening, but...
Aww.
I'm sure he won't hold that against you. You'll be able to make up with him next time you see him. I'm sure that'll be sooner than you think, too. But in the meantime, there's no need to force yourself to seem like being apart from them isn't bothering you. Royalty or not, no one would blame you for being worried or upset. And every single one of us here wants to do what we can to help you.
you.
Aw.
I'm fine now. I hope I don't sound ungrateful, but I think you should be spending more time with Elise rather than me. This is your first chance in a while to spend some quality time together. I'd hate to take that away from her.
Why? I mean, it's true that she's a little more dependent on me than you'd expect for a girl her age. But that doesn't mean she needs me hovering around her all the time. Then again, she did seem more shaken up than usual. Maybe you're right. I should try and cheer her up while I still can.
That's not exactly what I meant. Oh, this is so difficult on a fair maiden's heart, I hope you know. You're just making me wish you were my brother all the more.
Why?
Anyway, you can now view the character tab in your notebook. Okay. Okay, so it pretty much acts as the same as the previous game too. So, if we get different interactions with characters, then we get to learn a bit more about them too, as we keep going along in the game. Oops. Okay, we can go. We already went to the Septian Church. We can go visit the Phoenix Wings Inn as well as the tavern. All right, let's go to the inn. See if there's anybody who can greet us there. Probably will be. But who is going to greet us? Must be somebody within this place who would want to talk to us. Oh, this is the... Oh, man, this is... Oh, the hot baths! Looks like the baths are... Oh, yeah, so basically the hot springs inside this place. So, yeah, looks like we're going to be seeing a hot spring scene very, very soon. But more as an act of, like, trying to cleanse someone's spirit from any negativity that's going on, to make them feel more relaxed, more soothed. Okay, so nothing up here. Interesting. Okay, so there really is nothing here. Mr. Baggins, is your name Bilbo? Manager Baggins. Or, well, considering that you're old, I would say that you are Bilbo Baggins. Even though it says we could do something inside there, but doesn't look like now's the perfect time to do so yet. I guess we have to get the story moving along before we're granted that privilege. Alright, the Valley's Echo Tavern. So let's go ahead and talk to Taval right now.
If you've come to thank me for saving your butt again, save it. I'm just glad I made it in time.
You know, when hearing his voice, Toval's voice, I think that is Ian Sinclair who's voicing him. And for those of you who don't know who Ian Sinclair is, he actually is the guy who voices Whis in Dragon Ball Super.
Princess Alphen and that sister of yours are the ones you should be talking to. You were on their minds this whole time.
And he also voiced Rashid in Street Fighter V. So, as well as Zaveid in Tales of Zestiria, as well as Tales of Berseria. So, yeah, I definitely recognize his voice, and he definitely has a good voice for the characters he voices as.
Yeah, I can tell. I really do appreciate you coming for me, though. I was pretty far out from town, so I didn't think anyone would find me. Just goes to show what bracers can do, I guess.
About that. I wasn't actually the one who found you.
You weren't?
2 days ago, I got a call out of nowhere on my Arcus. They gave me this crazy amount of detail on exactly where to find you. Then they just hung up. Didn't even say who they were. I figured it couldn't hurt to go take a look. And sure enough, they were.
Wonder who got the exact location of Reen's whereabouts.
That's strange. I wonder who it was.
Wish I could tell you. I couldn't even recognize their voice. Nah, that's not really true. It was kind of familiar. Maybe. Whatever. No use dwelling on it. Right now we've got bigger problems to tackle than mystery callers. There's the war for starters.
Yeah, I suppose you're right. Have you and the rest of the guild been doing much?
Well, we've been trying. We're pretty limited on what we can do. partly because we've all been split up since the war broke out. I don't even know if any of the others in Erebonia are okay, Sarah included.
It sounds like things have gotten even more serious since I was away.
Sure has. Not even regular civilians have been able to escape being affected by it. As it stands, the Noble Alliance has the overwhelming advantage. But the Imperial Army's showing no signs of surrendering to them, particularly in a few regions across the country.
I see.
Oh, and another thing you might hear. We've been getting reports of a few Jaeger Corps taking part in the war too. Even members of Ouroboros.
Oh boy.
Ouroboros? That secret society?
That's the one. Jaegers being employed here in Erebonia is nothing new, but there's way more of them here these days. As for Ouroboros, they're probably just trying to stir up trouble of their own. It's what they do best.
Well, then again, it is Ouroboros he's talking about.
Then there's the fact that Erebonia isn't the only place with problems right now. Crossbell's full of them too. There's so much to freak out about these days, it could drive you insane. Sorry, you've got enough on your plate without me dumping all this on you, huh? Try saving all those bad thoughts you got piling up for another day, okay? You need to focus on relaxing. You can decide what you want to do after that.
Sure. Thanks, Toval. You're probably right. You're just a fountain of good advice, huh?
I've just got a few years worth of life experience on you, that's all. Oh, and while I'm giving you good advice, why not take a dip in the hot springs? Could be a nice way to clear your head.
It probably would. Hasn't let me down before. Maybe I should pay a visit to the Phoenix Wings later.
Yep. So, we'll definitely have to go to the Phoenix Wings Inn later, but now let's go see both Elise and Celine, since they're over here at the town plaza.
Oh, here you are, Elise. Wasn't expecting to find the two of you together.
Well, it's quite cold outside, so I thought I'd come and give Celine some warm milk. I keep telling her that she doesn't need to go out of her way for me, but she won't listen. The steam here is plenty to keep me warm. Oh no, that wouldn't do at all. You saved my brother's life. At least allow me to try and make your stay here in Ymir a comfortable one.
Funny thing is that both Celine and Elise are actually voiced by the same English voiceover, Kira Buckland. So, yeah, she plays both voices of both these two characters. So it's kind of weird to see, you know, the same voice actor play two different characters in this particular scene, if you know what I mean.
Celine saved my life? And when exactly did this happen?
I told her nothing of the sort. I keep trying to tell her it's not true, but she won't believe a word I say. Is something the matter?
Nope, not a thing.
I'd really rather you didn't act like I saved his life, though. Besides, if anything, I should be the one who owes you. What do you mean? Nothing. Forget I said anything. The milk's cooled down a little now, so I'm going to have some. Thank you.
Thinking back on it, didn't Elise later say she spotted a cat when she went into the old schoolhouse?
Oh yeah, she did say that.
That better not have been who I think it is.
Don't give me that look. I wouldn't have let her in there if I didn't think it was safe, you know? I was desperate. You just had such a half-hearted reaction to that door, so I started getting impatient and...
I can't believe you! She could've...
She wasn't in any danger, honestly. The Guardian in there was designed not to attack people unrelated to the trial. It didn't touch her even when she was right in front of it, right? That's proof enough. I'm sorry, okay? I never should have done it to begin with. Emma's lectured me over and over about it, too.
You're sorry? You...
I'm not sure why you're whispering to one another, but regardless, I want you to know how much I appreciate what you did. Like I said before, I want to make your stay a comfortable one. Whatever you need, please don't hesitate to ask. It's okay, really. And, sorry. Why are you sorry?
Well, she does genuinely seem to regret what she did, and at least didn't come to any harm. I guess I'll let her off this time.
Let her off the hook, Reen.
I really do have one amazing little sister. Compared to her, I'm...
Alright, so character notebook updated there, so if anything, we're probably gonna go over to this part and see what's going on in this section, because hopefully there's not really anything that's gonna give us, or be a detriment when we go inside the valley. Ah, there is somebody over here. Ah, Annabelle from the previous game, and she's all the way out here. Alright, let's see how many little dastardly fishies I can catch today. I wasn't expecting to find someone fishing here. Not like there are a whole lot of monsters here, though, so she should be safe if she doesn't stray too far. And just who might you be? I seem to recall meeting her during one of our field studies. Oh, I recognize you. You're one of the Thor students who helped me a number of months ago, yes? It's lovely to see you again. Nice to see you again, too. Looks like I was right. Sorry for disturbing you. Oh, there's no need to apologize. Actually, since you are a student of Thor's, wouldn't you happen to know a young man named Kenneth, would you? Kenneth? I do, actually. He's in the Imperial Fishing Club. That's the guy. That's wonderful news. Perhaps you might know where I could find him as well? I'm sorry, I'm afraid I've got no idea. Really? That's not so wonderful. So you know him too? Indeed, when the war first broke out, we fled Trista together. But on the way, he told me that he had something that he needed to take care of and asked me to go alone, or to go on alone. He promised to meet me here in Ymir, but there's been no sign of him since. That's unfortunate. That's not that I believe anything untoward could possibly have happened to him, of course. After all, there's nothing in this world that can crush the spirit of us anglers. When it comes to survival, even soldiers can't hold a candle to us. Right. That said, you're looking a little glum. At times like these, there's nothing like a spot of fishing to cheer you up. If you know Kenneth, it's only fair for me to assume you're a fan of fishing too. I am, in fact. Kenneth even gave me a title, Brown Angler, I think. I don't have my fishing gear with me anymore, though. Did he now? You must know your way around a fishing pole, then. In that case, please take these. We received the fishing book, as well as the feather rod, and ground bait. Are you sure? Sure, I'm sure. Kenneth left me in charge of some of his fishing gear. He instructed me to give them away if I were to cross paths with any promising fellow fishing enthusiasts. So go on, they're rightfully yours. That sounds like Kenneth, all right. Thank you very much. And since we've got your new notebook open, I've taken the liberty of writing down your current title to help you keep track. You'll begin as a bronze angler, judged by the same standards as any professional. Aim for the top and become a fishing god. I've plenty of prizes you can exchange at your angler points for, so beyond being pure bloody fun, fishing should prove worth your while. I'll try to do some when I've got the chance then. Alright. So we have obtained the fishing book, and we can fish by inspecting a fishing point by pressing the A button. Fishing points are found in bodies of water all over Erebonia. I gotta say, I do like the water effects here too. They actually look majestic, just looking at them. Records of the fish that you have caught can be viewed under the fishing tab in your notebook. Okay. Oh yeah, so it's pretty much the same.
I could probably fish here.
Yes, you probably could, but let's go ahead and head back for the time being. Because I'm pretty sure we can now go to the hot springs inside the inn. Because we're already... Yeah, we went through all the other all the other events that went on inside this village. And then even a little bit outside. So now we should be able to go into the hot baths. Looks like the... Oh. I'll have to swing by later. Oh, come on. Reenie? Is that what you called him, Maple? Yeah, so blah, 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 blah. So a lot of, stuff with them talking and all that. But, if anything, we're still not getting access to the hot springs. Ordinarily, I would recommend you using our springs, but I'm afraid they're currently being cleaned. I hope you'll be able to return once cleaning is finished. The hot springs of Ymir are the perfect remedy for exhaustion. If we can. But unfortunately, we cannot even get access to that. Oh, so this is who we need to talk to. Head Chef Werner. Oh, it's you, Reen. Your color's not looking half bad. If you were looking any worse, I was going to have you drink some of the new vegetable juice I've been concocting. I'm perfectly fine without, thank you. How many new recipes have you made since I've been away? My creativity is infinite, Reen. I'm always striving to make the finest dishes in the land. You were brushing up on your own cooking skills at the academy, weren't you? Yeah, my classmates and I were cooking for ourselves at one point. Wait a second! Where'd my recipe book go? Did you lose it? I guess so. I had all kinds of different recipes written down, too. I've even come up with some new recipes. Well, you went out of your way to come and see me. I suppose this is the least I can do. Take this. So we got ourselves a new recipe book. Is this a new recipe book? It's a spare I had lying around, so go ahead and use it. I know how much it hurts to start from scratch again, so I threw in a recipe to try. Here are some ingredients, too. Alright, for salty onigiri. So basically a salty rice ball, basically. Coarse rock salt and assorted grains. This is what Elise often used to bring me while I was training. Are you sure it's okay for me to just take these? Absolutely. I'm happy to see that you came to understand the joys of cooking while you were at the academy. And besides, taking the time to enjoy cooking should help to lift your spirits somewhat. It's a simple recipe, so why not go and make it with your family? Thank you very much, then. And that pretty much wraps up with talking or going through all the important stuff that we can go through right now in this village. So now we're probably going to have to go and do something that's very important to our story progression. So if we take a look and... Oh no, the Phoenix Wing's in. It's still going on. So it looks like there's something else that we're missing. Can we actually visit the hot springs now that everything's settled down? I think we can. Ah, Master Reen. May I help you? Actually, I'd like to use the springs. Are they open by any chance? Why, yes, of course. As it so happens, cleaning was only finished not too long ago. You can have any, or even all, of them to yourself if you wish. That sounds wonderful. I might just take you up on your offer. It feels like it's been ages since I've had a chance to enjoy them. The entrance is to the right. Enjoy, Master Reen. Alright, so we're gonna have a hot bath scene. Should I go to the baths now? Maybe I should go around and let everyone know I'm okay first. They've been so worried. Enjoying the baths will cause the main story to advance. Okay, so basically this is the same predicament. So yeah, we already met with everybody that we knew, and we pretty much went through the main stuff that we needed to learn about. So yes, let's go inside. Well, they were just cleaned. A nice warm soak while enjoying the scenery sounds like just the thing right now. Or we're not going to experience it, are we? Or we are. Yes, we are. There's that scar still on his left chest there, as you can plainly see.
You really can't beat an outdoor hot spring. Feels like all the fatigue that's been building up inside me is melting away. I don't think I realized just how exhausted I was was until I came in here. Still, what am I supposed to do now? Chancellor Osborne's been shot, the capital's been occupied, and now even Trista and the Academy are under the Noble Alliance's control. And there's Crowley. I was practically a joke. I didn't stand a chance against him.
Well, your fight with him was pretty much like how Dante went up against Virgil in both Devil May Cry 1 and Devil May Cry 3, where the first time he fought him, he ended up losing. And then the second time they fought, it was pretty much a draw, and the third time they fought, Dante got the victory.
Even borrowing the power of something like a divine knight wasn't enough to fight him on equal terms. Far from it. It was hopeless from the start. I didn't realize before, but he was holding back against me the whole time. Even without that trump card of his, he could have defeated me effortlessly. And yet there was me, all happy, thinking that I'd won, right before he knocked me back with a single blow. If only I wasn't so weak. If only I'd been able to hold my ground, maybe things would have been different. Instead, I ended up running away and leaving everyone else behind. There's no point in blaming how things ended on Celine or Valimar. None of this is their fault. This is all on me. Because of that, I've lost everything. I'd finally found a place where I felt I belonged, and people to share it with, and I lost it all. I thought my life was finally gaining some direction, but now I feel totally lost again.
Reen?
Oh.
Sorry if I'm bothering you.
Elise, did you want to use the springs too?
I heard you were here, so I thought that perhaps I could come and join you.
I mean, I know we used to come in here together when we were kids, but we're a little old for that now, don't you think? I'm not so sure it's the best idea.
Please, we're siblings. There's no need to feel so self-conscious. And you must be exhausted after all that's happened. So I thought the least I could do was come and wash your back for you.
Aw, just take her up on her. Just take her up on that offer, Reen. There you go.
The water's nice and toasty, huh? Truth be told, I haven't taken a dip here for some time. I'd forgotten how pleasant it was to sit here and admire the snow.
Yeah, same here. Bathing during the fall when the leaves are changing has its charms, but something about watching the snow really relaxes me. And it's plenty relaxing even without a bottle of sake in hand, despite what Master Kafai might tell you.
He's always been a heavy drinker. To say nothing of the fact that Father can never turn down the opportunity to help him finish a bottle or three whenever he visits.
I'm sorry. You came out here because you were worried, didn't you?
Oh no, not at all. That wasn't why I came here at all. It's just that...
You're not the only one. It's like everyone I meet has to go out of their way for me. It's how things have been for my whole life. How everyone feels like they have to be around me.
What do you mean?
It happened the day Dad picked me up in that blizzard 12 years ago. It happened the day when I lost control and scared you 8 years ago. It happened the day Master Kafai cut short my years of training. It even happened only last month, when everyone risked their lives so that I, and I alone, could be saved.
That's not...
Looking back on my life, I've been too fortunate for my own good. All I've done is bask in the kindness of everyone I know, giving nothing worthwhile in return. On the contrary, I've brought nothing but misfortune to them instead. Like I'm some kind of curse. I don't have the right to be treated kindly. I don't deserve to have others putting themselves out for me. Not when I seemingly can't do a thing to return that kindness and am too weak to fight for them when they need it most. None of this should have ever happened. If I'd known it would, if I'd known things would ever become like this, then I'd never have gone to the academy to begin with.
Stop! Do you seriously mean all that you've just said?
The
right to be treated kindly? And who exactly decides who has that right, whatever that's supposed to be? I don't look out for you because I expect something in return or because I want you to defend me. Acts of kindness aren't debts to be repaid. I look out for you because I care about you, because you're important to me. And I'm sure that Mother, Father, Master Kafai, your classmates, and all of your other acquaintances feel the same. So please, from the bottom of my heart, please don't say that you don't have the right to be treated kindly. Of course you do. You just don't realize it. You care so much about the people who matter to you. So why can't you understand that those people care just as much about you?
Oh, that is really deep.
Think back to that day when you were separated from your classmates. What kind of expressions did they have when you parted from them?
They were smiling. They all believed that we'd see each other again. That no matter what happened along the way, we'd all be reunited. And that one day, we'd move forward together as a class again, just like we did before. Maybe there's nothing wrong with feeling lost and impatient from time to time. I believe in all of them. And if they see me as worthy of their trust, then I'd like to try and believe in myself too. We're classmates. And more than that, we're friends. So long as I keep moving forward, I'm sure that somewhere, someday, our paths will cross again.
I think so too, Rean.
Thanks, Elise. I feel like you gave me exactly what I needed to move forward.
You don't need to thank me. I didn't do anything. All I did was remind you of something you already knew. It was your time at the academy that gave you what you needed. I admit, I am a little envious of your classmates, though.
Still, I'm really thankful to have you in my life. I might not be the most dependable brother in the world, but I'd appreciate it if you kept looking out for me. And while it might be a ways away, I'll keep striving to be an older brother you can be proud of.
I'm always proud of you, you know? And of course I will. I see all's well that ends well.
Oh boy.
Your Highness?
And you've brought Celine, too.
Hope you don't mind us barging in. What brings you here? I heard that you were both here from Toval, so I thought I might come along and see how everything was going. Besides, how could I pass up a chance to help cheer up Rean? And oh, what a heartwarming sight I happened to stumble upon during my humble quest. Considering you were waiting for the perfect time to make your grand entrance, stumbling is a stretch.
You were waiting?
Were you listening in the whole time? Elise, have you ever known me to be so unladylike? But I see you've done a fine enough job for the both of us. Oh, the bond between siblings is truly a miraculous thing. Not only do you share an unwavering kinship, but you'll always have the tender embrace of skinship within reach.
Skinship?
I'm so jealous.
Oh boy, that's a little going a bit too far there, Princess.
I appreciate your concern, though. Still, Elise is one thing, but I'm not entirely comfortable sharing the springs with you, Your Highness.
Oh, come now, Rean. This is the bath. Ranks are stripped once our clothes are, as far as I'm concerned. That being said, may I join Elise in washing your back as well? This would make the perfect chance for us to finally strengthen our bond as honorary siblings. Wouldn't you agree? Your Highness, please!
Oh boy. Quite the scene.
I'm sorry, okay?
Huh?
About, you know, things. I'm not exactly all that cognizant of human feelings and the like. Emma often points out as much. But thinking back, I have done some things that were probably quite insensitive in your eyes.
Look at you.
Huh?
If anything, I should be the one apologizing. I shouldn't have taken my frustrations out on you like that. Can you forgive me?
Forgive you? Why would I need to? I really don't get you sometimes.
Uh-oh.
That sounded like...
I know exactly what that was.
Oh,
It's that magic knight we ran into on the way down the mountain.
Oh no, it's back.
I had a feeling Toval's art wasn't enough to finish it off. But the fact it's still active isn't the only problem. It sounds like it's coming this way.
Ooh boy. Some very serious stuff going on there, guys. You're certain then? That this magic knight something or other is coming here? I'm certain. I can sense its mana moving towards us. It's still a fair distance away for now, but it's getting closer by the minute. It's coming from the direction of the valley behind the village. I thought I'd finish it off. I should have made sure. I didn't think anything could survive that fall, but if anything could, it'd be one of those things. No, you did what you did. You did what you could. You shouldn't blame yourself. Still, why would it be coming here? My guess is because you're here. Or more specifically, because the Ashen Awakener is here. It's after Reen? So these magic knights may have some connection with the Divine Knights? Well, that makes this easy. If it's after me, then I should be the one to go out and stop it. But you'd be putting yourself in danger. I'll be fine. And I won't let it get anywhere near the village. In a way, I have to. If I can't do this, what hope do I have of getting Class 7 back together again? Well, sounds like your mind's made up. And you appear to have recovered enough in my eyes. Alright then. I have no objections. We'll have all the villagers ready to evacuate as a precaution. Take care, Reen. Thanks, Mom. Dad. Let me come with. I doubt I could compare to Sarah, but I ain't too shabby in a fight. Really? Thank you. I feel a lot better having you around, honestly. Okay, so, Toval, Celine, are you guys almost ready to head out? Actually, if you don't mind, Reen, I would like to come with you. You would? Elise? This is not an opponent to be taken lightly, a fact I'm sure you're well aware of. I fully understand the dangers this will entail. Combat etiquette is imperative to calling oneself a noble, and I am familiar with the sword style of the Schwarzer family. You've trained me yourself, Reen. Well, that's true, but... You're certain that this is what you want to do, Elise? Yes, I am. My brother has chosen his path, and as a sister, I feel I have a duty to support him. No, not only as a sister, as a daughter of House Schwarzer. I have every intention of doing whatever is within my power. My, how you've grown. Indeed, as your father, I couldn't be more proud. Take her with you, Reen. I have plenty of faith in her abilities as a swordsman, but I also think she would keep you from doing anything too rash. Dad, come on! I don't think you've got anything to worry about. She's stronger than you're giving her credit for. Like your dad said, she knows her way around a sword, and she's pretty good at using her Arcus, too. She saved me and her highness from more than a few tough spots on her way here, even. That she did. And I'm sure she's capable of even more with her beloved brother at her side. But still... Hold on. Since when has Elise had an Arcus? Oh, left that fun detail out when catching you up, didn't I? Prince Oliver gave me a couple of spares, actually. And I had a bunch of these, and I had a hunch these two would have a knack for them with a bit of practice, so I showed them the ropes on the way here. I know you're against her coming with us, but we really don't have much time here. And it's pretty clear that nothing you say is going to change your mind, so I think it's time you gave up and we got going. Fine, you can come too, Elise. But don't even think of doing anything that will put you any further in harm's way than you need to be. Promise, okay? I promise. Alright, let's get started. Let's start getting ready then. If either of you need to do anything last minute, get it done now. After that, we'll make our way for Ymir's back entrance. And Taval Elise joined the party, and I think Alphen is going to be joining alongside us too, and you can now customize the battle order of your party members too. Alright, so pretty sure that we're going to have Elise, we're going to be doing a, forming a link, a combat link with each other, if anything. About recover items and food, okay, so it pretty much explains to us the same thing as before, and yeah, all the other good stuff, but, if anything, I think we pretty much made some good progress tonight, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to end off this this live stream for tonight, and we will resume things back for the next night. So, hope you all had a very good time watching me play this as much as I did. I know it was kind of a long stride for me to go through this game, but I mean, for the first episode at least, but I will say that I had a lot of fun with going through what I just did. So, if anything, we're definitely going to be in for a great time with Trails of Cold Steel 2. And I'm definitely liking where the story is going so far. So, looks like this is going to be a very big and ambitious project for me going forward. And hopefully we'll be spending a lot of great weekends going through the game quite immensely just to get to the end. And hopefully this will be enough to, hopefully raise some voices toward Xseed Games to finally get on with the localization of Trails of Cold Steel 3, as well as Trails of Cold Steel 4, now that Trails of Cold Steel 4 is coming out in Japan at the end of this month. So finally, that will hopefully mean that Falcom will be open to negotiations to get those games localized for the Western market. But who knows? Anyway, guys, if you like what you see, then be sure to follow me on Facebook and Twitter for the social media feeds, facebook.com/RRPGReviews, as well as twitter.com/RRPGReviews. If you like me as a content creator on YouTube, then be sure to follow me on youtube.com/RRPGReviews. I'm currently working diligently on the Final Fantasy retrospective right now, trying to get all that done. And also, be sure to follow the Geek Fighters with our Twitch stream, or with our streams on Twitch, which is twitch.tv/thegeekfighters, as well as the individual streams for my co-hosts, Fighter Kaus and 16-Bit Jeff, which you can find all those tabs just right below the video player of whatever you're watching within this page that you see. And you can also follow us on our Discord server as well, since I do have a tab that you can actually go to from there as well. Anyway, guys, I have to get off here for the night as I'm getting pretty tired, and I will see you back hopefully tomorrow night for when we resume back with Trails of Cold Steel 2. And we're going to go down the path, or go through the back entrance of Ymir and make our way toward the Magic Knight, and we're going to see about that Magic Knight, and maybe, just maybe, the Ashen Knight Valimar is going to come and give us a lending hand to actually defeat it, but we'll have to see. But other than that, I just want to end off by saying you all have yourselves a very good morning, a good afternoon, or a good evening at best. But for the most part, you all have yourselves a very fantastic day. And until then, this is Double RPG signing off by saying Godspeed and game on, gamers. Peace out.